Uh,
Okay, thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Tara, and we are going to talk today about Alliance member group chapters. So we are currently in a new grant cycle for the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance, and we are having all of our current member groups re-sign with us, and also hoping to potentially recruit new groups and support you all in figuring out what that looks like and how we can help you. Okay, next slide. Oh, well, I'm controlling the slides. Adam, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm the project director of the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. I belong to the Center for Independent Futures Young Professional Board. I'm a member of CIF, and I'm a Alliance ambassador.
All right, thank you. And my name is Tara Ahern. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the operations director. Christine, I'm going to tap you in at a couple points here. So why don't you introduce yourself again?
Thank you. Yes, my name is Christine Beck. I use she, her pronouns, and I do organizational advocacy support.
Okay, thank you. Adam.
Our vision is for self-advocates to work together to get support, to live the life we want in the community. Our mission is to speak up for ourselves and others while working together to make changes in communities and in Illinois.
Okay, and what do self-advocates want folks to know?
Nothing about us without us. We have a mouth. We can speak for ourselves. We can make our own choices.
And what's happening in these photos on the screen? Can you describe them?
These are folks who are probably self-advocates and groups, and they have a seat at the table, and they're speaking up for what they need and want in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this photo right here, we have a group who are speaking up about living in the community. So this is for the Going Home Coalition, and they are at Springfield in the Capitol Rotunda speaking about what's important to them. And then on the right here, we have a self-advocate named Adam Cooper who's speaking up and talking about, what he thinks is important. So that's really exciting. And then Adam, what does nothing about us without us mean to you specifically?
It means that we have a seat at the table and we can talk about what we need in the community.
Yeah, that's a great answer. So nothing about us without us is sort of like the slogan for the community, right? For the community of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So what that means is nothing about us without us. Folks want a seat at the table, and there's a photo of this happening right here on the bottom right, where we have a self-advocate named James who was speaking up at a person-centered planning forum with the former Division of Developmental Disabilities Director, Greg Fenton, and also an agency director from Ray Graham. So he looks very happy. He's speaking up and sharing his hopes and dreams. And then on the left here, we have another self-advocate who is speaking at the Arc of Illinois convention. So what this could look like many different things. It could be meeting with important decision makers like we have here with James. It could be participating in meetings, being included in committees, on work groups and boards, presenting trainings, and being recognized for our expertise and experience, right? Okay, and Adam, let's talk about this slide.
Advocacy power. I think what that is that the advocates are having fun with what they are doing, and they are are representing different groups and doing different things in the community.
Absolutely. So it's really important that we tap into that power, that a lot of times as people with disabilities, you know, I have different disabilities, but mine are physical and I have some mental health challenges. And so I don't have intellectual or developmental disabilities. So it's really important that in my work that Christine and I help to support you all to make sure that you can, you know, sit in your power and realize how incredible you are and that anything is possible. So these are just photos of a lot of different self-advocates speaking, making vision boards, speaking at conferences, at rallies, doing presentations. And if you look at all these photos, you can see that these individuals are very empowered. They're very happy. And that's exactly what we want to happen. Okay, so the history of, excuse me, of the Alliance. I don't want to read through these all in the interest of time, but the Alliance has been around for a long time, since 2006. Actually, we were first called ISAIL, which is Illinois Self-Advocates in the Lead, but switched over to the name the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance in 2008. So we started working to create a coalition of self-advocacy groups in Illinois, which a coalition is just kind of like a big group of groups. And then here you can see on the screen, we received a lot of different funding opportunities. So we first had a 5-year grant, then a 3-year grant, and then a no-cost extension because of the impacts of COVID. And we're currently in a grant cycle that will last 5 years. And our funder is the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. So every state has a council on developmental disabilities, and a lot of their role is to fund programs that help and support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And one of their focus areas is self-advocacy. So it makes perfect sense that they're our partner and our funder. Adam, what is our focus?
Our focus is to empower people to speak up and speak out about what they want or need. Speak up and speak out about the things they don't want or don't need. Action plan their goals and participate in advocacy at the personal, community, and statewide levels. We do it through education, trainings, and individualized mentoring.
Thank you. And what do we do?
Okay. We support member chapters, support those in transition, support those that identify as LGBTQ+, advocate around important issues, legislative and policy agenda, offer networking, advocacy, and learning opportunities, monthly newsletters, webinars, Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program. We do Training Institute, and we do regional and statewide trainings.
Thanks, Adam. And so in these photos, you'll see self-advocates presenting. This is at the National Self-Advocates Becoming Empowered Conference. This was in Birmingham. No, this is from the ARC of Illinois Convention. I apologize. And then this is Billy Kleinel presenting for staff at an agency in the Chicago area on the importance of self-advocacy. This is our organizational chart, and this is something that I really wanted to present to you all because it's important that as member groups or potential new member groups, you have a little bit more of an understanding of how the Alliance is changing from our last grant cycle. So we have very specific objectives and goals that we want to achieve throughout the 5 years of our grant cycle. And I think it's really important to just kind of review what that is going to look like. So you'll see on the screen, we have boxes that are either purplish, blue, or gray. And so the purple boxes are filled or will be filled by people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. And the boxes in gray are people that may be filled by people with intellectual or developmental disabilities, and more specifically, any kind of disability. So let's go through this. At the top here, we have our board of directors, which is all people with IDD, intellectual or developmental disabilities, okay? And so our board is really at the top. They are the ones who give us the directive and the directions that we take, okay? And so then next we have the project director, which is Adam. Adam is someone who has an intellectual developmental disability, and so it's really important that he kind of steers the ship, that, you know, really he is representing people with IDD as best he can, right? And that he tells me and Christine what is important and how we should proceed. So next we have the operations director, which is me. I am a person with disabilities, but not IDD. So that is again, you know, I bring my expertise, but, you know, we really need to rely on you all to kind of fill us in. And then next we have Christine, who is our organizational advocacy support, and she is really our boots on the ground. She is our historian. She does so much incredible work for us. And part of her role is to supervise some of our new hires. So that includes a policy coordinator. Excuse me, I'm having a little trouble today. And the policy coordinator is going to be working on policy. So legislation, laws, bills, things that we need to kind of further the advocacy movement. Next, we have a youth and transition coordinator. This is a position that we had filled, but that person has moved away out of state. And so we're going to be looking for someone with an intellectual or developmental disability to help us with youth and transition. So that's basically ages, 14 to 15 through about 22. And then next we have advocacy coordinator. We have hired someone for that. His name is Tavares Wesley, and we're really excited to have him on our team. He is a former board member, so he is great. And then next, Advocate Bureau members, which is something that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and then Advocate Bureau ally, which is something that we may or may not fill in the next coming year. Then to the side, we have a Spanish coordinator. His name is Jaime Conejo, and he is a phenomenal self-advocate who is currently a tutor at Wright College, and he does a lot of Spanish translation for us. And we're also looking to do some mobilizing in Spanish-speaking communities, especially in the Chicago area, the west side and south sides of Chicago, north side, all the sides. And so we're really hoping to start some advocacy groups within that community. And then we have self-advocate contractors who we pay intermittently for presentations or consulting with us, serving on work groups. And then over here on the far left, we have a new program that we're launching, and it's LGBTQIA empowerment. So LGBTQ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, asexual, queer, or questioning. So really, we're talking about folks that are, may have an interest in learning about their sexuality and how they identify, right, in their gender. And so that's something that we're hoping to really create some awesome resources, maybe some curriculum and some support groups for individuals. Does anyone have any questions? If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and Christine can kind of pause and ask questions when we need to stop for them. Okay, so Adam, I'm going to have you talk about some of the deliverables that are part of our new grant. And what deliverables means is the goals that we want to achieve. Adam?
Build capacity resulting in self-advocates being in the lead of the organization and sorry, and related activities. Support self-advocate and scheduling their next.
And achieving their next. So this is a big thing. So really the goal for us at the Alliance is through all of our services, we want self-advocates. So you listening, wherever you are, to get to your next. And what that means is whatever that next thing is. So if you are someone that's shy and afraid to speak up, we're hoping that through coming to trainings or being in an advocacy group or getting support from us, you'll be able to potentially speak up about something that's important to you. Maybe if you're in a group already, it's learning how to do a presentation. So that would be your next thing that you're working towards to achieve. Hopefully that makes sense. And we're going to talk more about that. Some of the areas of focus that we are looking to expand upon is an advocate bureau, which really means paid self-advocates. And we're basically kind of creating this really cool group where we have folks that we can rely on anytime, right? Depending on your schedule, right? But basically we get requests all the time from people at the state, people at, agencies. We get requests for presenters. We get requests for folks to serve on committees or work groups. And sometimes it can be hard to find folks. And we tend to rely on the same couple individuals because we know they're reliable. But we really want to expand that group. And a lot of people want to get paid for self-advocacy work. I know, it's really exciting to get paid to talk about things that are important to us, right? That impact us. And so we're really thinking that, we should just expand this group so that we have folks all over the state. And I was really excited to hear that there's a group from Southern Illinois, because that's an area that we really want to help support, right? So part of our outreach is to connect with the LGBTQ population. That's going to be a program. And then we also have youth in transition. So that's another program that we're working on, right? So creating certain curriculum, helping support individuals, doing presentations. That's something that we're really passionate about. The next group is people living in congregate care settings. So larger institutional type settings like state operated developmental centers, intermediate care facilities, group homes, nursing homes, things like that, where sometimes folks wind up in these places, not because they want to, maybe they need more support. And unfortunately, it can be really hard to get out of those settings. And we want to make sure that people have the ability to advocate and to live in the community if that's what they want, okay? And also those outside of Chicago, we call it the Keller counties. So all of the main counties like Cook, DuPage, all these counties that are right around the city of Chicago, where the population is pretty dense, right? We've got a lot of folks who live in the Chicago area, but then, the west side of the state and the southern part of the state in central Illinois, there's not as many people and there's not as many providers. Transportation is really hard. And so we really want to make sure that we're providing lots of valuable services and solutions for folks in those areas to receive our services. Also, like I said before, we want to support people that are non-English speakers, so primarily Spanish, but we are translating our resources into other languages. So we can translate something into any language, really, within reason. So that's an exciting thing that we're doing too. And then policy. So the current areas that we are enhancing that we have focused on before is member group chapters. This is something that a lot of you are familiar with on this call, that you've been a member group chapter. It is going to change a little bit. We are asking a lot more of member groups because we really want to go deeper with groups. And as you'll see in the coming slides, we want to get folks to their next. And then also learning and advocacy opportunities. This is something that we really excel at, thanks to Christine, having regular webinars and trainings like this, both in person and virtual, is something that we are going to continue to provide. And then also, collaborations with different entities and organizations. I created this last night. I hope it makes sense. And this is just kind of a different way to think about the Alliance. So in the center, we have here advocates getting to their next. So there's lots of different ways that can happen. Like I just talked about, we have outreach to different populations and learning and advocacy opportunities. This is a way that people can engage to get to their next. People can also participate in member group chapters, getting to their next. And then hopefully those of you who are really interested in learning about doing presentations or serving on committees, some of you can participate in our advocate bureau and get paid to do that work, which is really exciting. Okay, so really the goal for us is to have 30 quality member group chapters by the end of the grant, which is 2027. Currently, we have 42, which you might be thinking, whoa, you already have more than 30. We expect that when we have groups re-sign, a lot will drop off because some groups we haven't connected with, or COVID just kind of messed things up. We have a lot of groups in name only that haven't really done a lot of events or participated in Alliance services, and so we expect that a lot of groups just won't resign, and that's fine. And we'll talk later about what that will look like and what that means, but basically this is just a map of the state with currently where our groups are located. And as I said before, we have really a lot of white space in the state where we really want to focus on getting more advocate presence in those parts of the state. Okay, Adam, tell us what is going to be required of member group chapters moving forward. What do they have to agree to? If you want to start here.
They have to hold regular meetings. Sorry, I'm trying to read this. There we go. Allies and advisors attending the Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program training for 1 hour. Allies and advisors using the AALP with groups and group members. Engagement in agency, community, and statewide advocacy. Engagement in legislative advocacy. Participate in learning and advocacy opportunities provided by the Alliance. Share information related to monthly activities, meetings, advocacy opportunities, learning opportunities, etc. With the Alliance, participate in Alliance satisfaction surveys.
Okay, so this may seem like a lot. It is, but it isn't. Really, the big thing is that we want groups to do the work, right? We want to make it worth our time in a sense that we are receiving quite a bit of money from the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities, and they have very specific asks of us. So in order to keep receiving funding, we have to prove to them that we are worth funding, right? And a part of that is getting surveys completed by member group chapters, which can be really challenging, and also proving to them that you all are making progress, which can be challenging at times. And we really just want to make sure that we're, that we're being useful to you and being helpful, and that your groups are, passionate about self-advocacy like we are. So part of that is participating in the Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program, which again, goes back to this, right? So part of being a member group chapter is helping the advocates in your group get to their next. So one of those ways that we can do that is using the ambassador program, which has a lot of great resources to help folks think about what their goals are, how to action plan them, how to talk to their staff. Maybe a person is wants to do more cooking and be more involved in meal planning at their SILA or their group home, and they're not sure how to do that. That's an example of a really good goal, right? And maybe it's wanting to pick out your own clothes. Maybe it's wanting to pick who your PA is. There's all kinds of things that anyone can do at any level, right? And it's not just about state advocacy and paid work. It's also about those smaller things that become bigger things. They kind of snowball into bigger opportunities. So that's really something that we're hoping to focus on and encourage groups to participate in advocacy in a lot of different ways. And later on in the presentation, we are going to talk about some specific examples of how to do that. Well, actually, we're going to talk about it right now. Okay, so let's break it down. These are just ideas, and you're going to see as I progress in the slides that they do kind of snowball or build upon each other. So here are some ways that we have seen people engage in advocacy at the agency level. So clients are offered regular classes or opportunities to learn about and engage in self-advocacy. This is something that is becoming mandated by the federal government, so that we have that on our side. I know culturally, a lot of agencies still struggle with self-direction and having clients be more in the lead, having them learn about advocacy and do community employment, things like that. So we know that things are changing, and so it's really important that folks have consistent opportunities to learn about advocacy. Clients are also given resources to expand their knowledge about advocacy and nourish those skills. So one example of that would be the Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program. We have all of the tools in a lovely binder ready to go. The next thing is for folks to be able to participate on committees, on work groups, and the board of directors at the agency. And some of you may be in the community, you may not be attached to an agency, and that's fine. This might look a little different for you all, but for those of you who do receive services, it's important that your agency has clients on boards and committees because they are receiving the services, they are your clients. So they should have a say in what works and what doesn't work, right? And just to skip over here, they should be able to communicate their concerns, their frustrations, the suggestions they have, and all the wonderful ideas they have to staff, to leadership, and the board without fear of retaliation or abuse. And sometimes we see that, right? Some agencies, it's sort of like, we're babysitting, or we're just kind of, we're getting through the day. And we really want to make it more integrative and more person-centered. So back up here, a lot of folks are able to participate in interviewing potential new staff, whether that's at a day program or a SILA, or if it's a PA, a personal assistant for someone, and then also help do the training. And that sends a message to new staff that the clients you serve have a seat at the table. That creates a culture where where the clients are valued and really in the lead, right? And so that's something that ultimately we're hoping to create, that cultural change. And influencing agency culture and policy changes is really important, but it takes time, right? And we know that. Okay, Adam, why don't you talk about how folks are engaging in the community?
Attending public meetings, speaking at public meetings if interested. If so, resources to prepare for public speaking, like an elevator speech. Speaking at conferences. Resources and support, connecting with local policymakers, elected and appointed officials. Communication concerns, suggestions, and ideas to these individuals, influencing positive social change and destigmatizing. IDD, influencing policy changes.
Great job, Adam. Yeah, so a lot of this is kind of similar. And as we think about the community, it's really important to engage, right? So we've talked to lots of folks who go to restaurants or go to the doctor or anywhere in the community, and folks, rely on their staff or talk to their staff and ask, what do they want for dinner, or what's going on with this person, instead of talking directly to the person. So that's a great opportunity for advocates, for you all to speak up and use your voice, or use your tablet, or use your, however you communicate, right? To speak up and say what it is that's important to you. And ultimately, we're creating social change and destigmatizing the ideas that people have about disability, right? So it's really important that we have the resources and tools to do all of that. Because some of this might feel like, oh my gosh, we're taking a small bite out of an elephant, right? Right? There's that old saying. And so we really want to think about it kind of like back here, that, okay, the first step is setting goals. What is self-advocacy? Using worksheets and resources. Maybe it's practicing an elevator speech before you think about doing a presentation or talking to a legislator. And community advocacy is a great way to engage, right? We can go to meetings at the town hall. We can do all kinds of things with our local legislators. And it might not feel as intimidating or scary. Maybe it's advocating about curb cuts. You can't get over, you can't get on the sidewalk because there's no curb cut. So maybe it's as simple as talking to a local legislator and alderman about, hey, I can't get on the curb. I can't go walking. I can't go to my job, right? Or maybe it's the sidewalk is all uneven. So maybe it's advocating about that. Lots of ways that we can speak up. And then in the statewide and legislative advocacy, you'll see it's very similar, same things. Attending meetings, maybe they're in Springfield or other areas, speaking at larger public meetings, speaking at or presenting at conferences, or testifying in hearings, filing witness slips. These are all things that we have resources for to help you do. Connecting with policymakers and elected and appointed officials, communicating your concerns, and influencing change. So it's really just, is it at the local level or the state level or the national level that we do some of these things? So Adam, why don't we talk really quickly about the Ambassador Leadership Program?
Okay. And so, should I just do the sections, or do you want me to read all of it?
You can read all of it.
Okay. Support self-advocates in learning advocacy, leadership, and public speaking skills. Utilizes small group one-on-one mentoring and independent study 6-section curriculum. Introduction to the AALP. Section 1, Ambassador 101. Section 2, Research and Using Technology. Section 3, Planning Meetings and Events. Section 4, Public Speaking. Section 5, Community, State, and Federal Advocacy. Section 6, Graduation. Includes a facilitator and includes a facilitator's guide.
Yeah, so we have a guide for facilitators that breaks everything down to use the pens, give them out, read this section, flip the page. It's very user friendly, and so we've done all of the work. We've taken out all of the bumps to make this as successful as possible. So here on this screen, I apologize that some of these are blurry. Some of these photos are really old. We have all of our former ambassador graduates, which is really exciting. So our last in-person class was in 2019. We unfortunately got hit with COVID right after, so we weren't able to hold any sessions in person, but you'll see a lot, these folks are really excited, emotional, doing presentations, speaking about themselves and their goals. It's just really empowering. And a lot of these folks, just to see the progress from the beginning to the end, it's very emotional, even just thinking about it, because of just all the incredible change and the empowerment and the confidence that was really imparted on individuals, that now some of these folks are doing paid advocacy work, serving on boards, serving on the ICDD council, the council board, lots of incredible opportunities. And then this is just a map of Illinois where all of the graduates live. So again, looking to populate some of these denser areas. Okay, member group chapters. We are learning about the Spanish-speaking community. So we have created and distributed a survey in both English and Spanish, and we're going to hold some focus groups for that population to just learn about what their needs are. And that's something that we're really excited to be able to do. And then we're going to have the Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program online for ease of accessibility, so people can download it and use it, and it'll just be easier for folks to get. And then really the big thing is we're focusing on quality versus quantity. So currently we have 42 groups, but we know that a lot are going to drop off, and we would rather have less groups that we're working with more individually, just to make sure that you're getting more of our attention, right? And that we can go deeper with you all. Member group accomplishments. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I know we're already at 10:40, but we're a lot stronger when we work together, right? And so our groups have been really successful. This is a group that Adam and I were a part of at Center for Independent Futures. And this group wanted to conduct a presentation. They wanted to hold a presentation on disability history. So the group decided on which parts of history they wanted to focus on and created a presentation. Everyone got to present. And they even designed cool t-shirts, which was really fun. Another group created rights posters that they were able to, design and write on, which was really a cool way to share what's important to them. We have another group from Livingston County, LCAA, woo, who presented at a transition fair, which is really cool. Lots of amazing sessions. Changed to Independence Altogether did a Disability Pride Week where they had different colors. You wear different colors every day, and each day had a theme, which is that's really exciting. I love that. Another group from Developing Social Connections did a presentation about how to get the most out of your support staff to the Division of Developmental Disabilities at their all-staff training. And then we had groups, we've had a lot of groups do spread the word to end the word. So the R word campaign, at college campuses, and just really encouraging folks to, not use the R word. Adam?
We want to learn skills. We want to make changes, and we want to help others.
Okay. Oh, I want to talk about, and then in this photo, there is a gentleman who has a poster that says, I can go to dances, play basketball, go to baseball games, go shopping, work in the community, lift weights, and listen to music. I love that. Advisors, we know this may seem really overwhelming, and we want you to know we're here for you as well. We have lots of really great resources that are available to you that we are happy to share. We pretty regularly hold for advisors only webinars and training events online. We've done a few in person as well. We may do that at some point, but really those are is a designated space for you all to get together, to share ideas, to troubleshoot any challenges that you're having, and hear from others around the state who are in that same position as you. So we have those opportunities, and just the Alliance staff are here to help you troubleshoot. We have lots of resources to get you started, like our leadership manual. We have one pagers with really cool resources that you can use and just kind of hit the ground running. Our leadership manual is very dense, and it really takes you through the process of forming a group, what to do at the meetings, sample activities that you can use. Really exciting. And then lastly, we have challenge grants, which is something that we did a little bit in our last grant. But basically, these are small grants for our member groups to fund projects that are related to disability advocacy. So there is an application process, and of course, we are, going to review them, and they need to be approved. But, we do have some money to be able to give to groups for, we've had a couple examples are, we had one group to create like an advocacy board, like a cork board that they put in their workshop, and they were able to decorate it and put the Alliance newsletter on it, things like that. We've had other groups do presentations. We've had groups hold meetings for state legislators, like renting rooms and buying snacks and things like that. So lots of really fun ideas that people have done. Let's talk about frequently asked questions. So the first one is there a cost associated with membership? Adam, do you want to read that?
No, our services are free and fabulous.
Yeah, that's what Christine always says. Her two favorite F words, free and fabulous. How do I get started?
You do an email. You can look up an email, info@selfadvocacyalliance.org to get a copy of the application and opt into our listserv and to receive our newsletter.
All right. How frequently will the Alliance be in touch with our group?
As often as you want or need us to.
Great. How do I go about starting a group? This feels overwhelming.
Gather passionate individuals together, 2 to 6 people, and start with the, what's that word? I'm sorry, it's in my way.
No, it's okay, the basics.
Agree on the following: frequency of meetings, once a month or even twice a month. Have a time and place. Purpose of the group: advocacy, social club, awareness, all of the above. Decide on a group name. Decide on a mission and vision for the group. Assign roles. At some point, decide whether you want officer positions. Consider using Robert's Rules of Order.
All right, and all of this doesn't have to happen in your first meeting, so don't feel overwhelmed. Adam, we're a member group chapter. Do we need to reapply?
Yes.
Why?
Because we want to reassess your group's commitment levels and ability to successfully engage.
All right. We aren't sure we are ready or able to commit to membership requirements just yet.
That's okay. Our goal is to go deeper with groups and create a strong constituency of powerful advocates and leaders across the state who are able to engage in meaningful advocacy and action.
If we decide not to apply, can we still benefit from Alliance services?
Of course, make sure you're signed up for a newsletter and email blasts. We currently offer virtual presentations and trainings. In the coming years or so, we also have some in-person opportunities.
All right, thanks, Adam. So here are some considerations for staff and other advisors or supporters or allies. Don't bite off more than you can chew. We recommend that there's 2 advisors or support staff individuals, or at least have a backup, have an intern, have a volunteer, have someone else at your agency that is up to speed on what's going on with the group. Because the reality is that people get promoted, they change jobs, they get busy, right? A lot of you are maybe assigned with this as other duties as assigned, right? And so this may not be your passion. It may not be, maybe it is your passion and you just don't have the time and energy to devote to it. And unfortunately, what happens is that when that is a reality, the group tends to fold, right? Because if there's not a consistent presence of an advisor who kind of keeps things going, a lot of groups just don't sustain themselves. And the goal is to be that, the group should be able to keep it moving with or without you, right? We want advisors to work themselves to the back of the room where, yeah, they're there to maybe print off the agenda or maybe prompt folks, oh, remember, we have the group coming, what do we need to do? As opposed to doing all of the work. It's really important that it's their group. Everyone has a role, everyone's responsible, not just the ally or advisor. And you can't want it for folks. So that's something that we really just want to impart on you all, that they have to want it for themselves. And the biggest thing is that cultural change takes time. Some of this, you might feel like, oh, okay, I get it. Self-advocacy is so important, but my CEO or executive director isn't there, or the other staff at the agency aren't getting it, and that's sort of the call to action, that you're leading the way as well. You're helping to create that cultural change within your agency for the good and betterment of the people that you serve. It's a big job. It's a big responsibility, but it's so important for the people that you're with, right? And that you're serving. And then we're just going to take some time. We have about 10 minutes, and we just want to answer any questions that you have about membership, about joining or re-signing, or concerns that you have. What questions do folks have? So I'm gonna ask Christine. Christine, did we miss anything? Do you have any words of encouragement or notes for us?
Yes. Thank you so much, Adam and Tara, for that wonderful information. This is Christine. I just want to add that the application is available in a couple of formats. We have it in a PDF format that we can send to you. You can print it out. You can write in by hand your answers. You can then scan it and send it to us. That is a great way to do it. We have another format available that is PDF fillable. So you would pull it up on the computer and you can type in your answers and save it and send it. We also have the 2 formats available in Spanish, if that is something. We can also help you fill out the member group chapter application. Just let us know. We are available to help. We would strongly recommend that the group works together to fill out the member group chapter application, that it is not done by one person, or it is not done by the ally or the advisor. But it is a group event, and maybe it's a group of 3 or 4. Sometimes when you have a group of 20, that might be difficult, but we recommend that it's, again, nothing about us without us, that the self-advocates are at the core of the process. And Sarah had a great question. Thank you so much, Sarah. How do you get people to join a group or chapter during the recruitment process or get them interested? Oh my gosh, that is a great question, and thank you for asking. So there's a couple ideas. You can gather some people who are like-minded people and say, hey, what do you think about having a self-advocacy group or making a group? You could do that. Another thing that the Alliance can do, and I'm glad we have some new folks with us today. We have folks there at, we have Amy. We haven't connected with Amy a whole lot. We have Kayla Warren. We have Dawn Mueller. We have, let me see, Centerstone's in the house. Yay. The Alliance can provide a wonderful virtual training called Let's Learn About Self-Advocacy and the Alliance. And we can do that for your group over Zoom to get interested in self-advocacy and perhaps interested in joining the Alliance. You just have to reach out to us. We can schedule that. Another thing we can do is we have a presentation on, so you want to start a self-advocacy group. And it kind of walks you through the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of starting a self-advocacy group. We're actually going to have a wonderful self-advocate from Indiana, Self-Advocates of Indiana, joining us for a webinar in a couple of months to talk about starting a self-advocacy group. But really it's about somebody, one person, right? The spark starts with one person, Sarah, that you have an interest, and maybe you talk to one other person and you talk to another person. Now you have 3 people who are interested, and we can help you out. We can help you individually to work through that process. Adam or anybody else, do you have any advice to give Sarah? These are times for us to learn with and from each other, and the Alliance has some great ideas. You also have great ideas. Anybody want to share anything with Sarah? If you do, you can type it into the chat box. You can also take yourself off of mute if you would like to speak it out loud. And Sarah, this is Christine again. I hope that answered your question. The other thing that the Alliance can offer, not only to allies and advisors, but to self-advocates and self-advocacy groups, we have a YouTube channel that has more than 95 recorded presentations. There is a specific playlist just for allies and advisors. I mean, anybody could look at it, but that's for you as an ally or an advisor. And then we have different playlists. We have a healthy relationships series. We have the summer, our summer advocacy series. You just have to check it out. And Shannon and Livingston County Advocates in Action. Yes, you wanted to share something.
I just wanted to share with Sarah that it just sometimes takes time. So if you can get 3, 4, 5 people excited about it, and then they talk to their friends, and then also if you have a just like an invitation, if you get 4 or 5 people interested in the group and they invite one friend, that helps. Just, you know, you double your attendance just by that. Everybody loves snacks and refreshments, but really, if you're just getting started, I think we've been working together with the Alliance since 2013, maybe. It's been a long time, but, or even before that. It will take time. It ebbs and flows. People get excited and then maybe they back off a little bit and then they get excited again. So just be patient with the process. I think this meeting's great because it's going to get me all excited again. So that's all I have.
And thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing. Shannon, as she mentioned, has been involved with the Alliance as a member group chapter advisor and ally for quite a number of years. If you are a newer advisor or ally, or you're considering becoming an advisor or ally, we can certainly help connect you to maybe seasoned allies and advisors so you can learn with and from each other. We all have things to learn. We all have things to share. I don't see any other. Oh, great. Sarah, thank you so much. I am one of the facilitators for the Human Rights and Advocacy Group. Oh, that is fantastic. So I'm just getting more information about this. Can you support this group too with resources or something? Yes, yes, and yes. Perhaps, Sarah, the Alliance can join the Human Rights and Advocacy Group virtually through the power of the internet and Zoom for a meeting. Perhaps we share about self-advocacy, or we learn more about your human rights and advocacy group. How can we support you? How can your group support everyone else? Maybe other agencies would like to start a human rights and advocacy group. You just don't know. The possibilities are endless. All right, I think that is it, Tara.
All right, thank you all so much. This has been really exciting. And if you have more questions and concerns, we will be emailing all of our current groups just to reconnect with them and you know, give them the new application. But if in the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to connect with Christine or myself, or contact our info at selfadvocacyalliance.org email, and we will answer any questions that you have. So thank you all for being here today. I'm glad I get to see some of your faces. Oh, it's been so long. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.